like to reconvene if we could. Open forum. An opportunity for community input regarding the Quincy Public Schools. After giving his or her name and address, each speaker may make a presentation of no more than 4 minutes to the school committee.
Chris Chetwin, 333 Southern Artery. I'm here tonight to talk about a letter that I got in the mail the other day from Joanne Bragg, Ron Mariano, and Nick Pulio. The way I was thinking when I opened it was a little disappointment, mainly because I don't believe that what you guys were saying in the letter was accurate. I don't think that this year has been beneficial at all. Between the GIC money that was not funded, that I've spoke about in the past, the fact that the teachers denied a pay freeze. There's a lot of stuff going on out there that you said that Mayor Koch is an asset to the Quincy School Committee and the Quincy schools, I should say. And I disagree.
Is this about anything in specific?
It's about a letter that I received at my house that Joanne Bragg, you, and Nick Pulio sent.
I believe he's just connecting it to a school committee letter that went out to folks.
It was not a school committee letter, Mr. Chairman.
I didn't get the letter, but
it was not a school committee letter, and I would submit that it's not a school committee issue. If you want to speak to me personally about it, or Mr. Pulio personally, Mrs. Bragg personally, that's fine. But
well, it came from 3 school committee members, sir.
The rest of the committee did not participate in the letter, so you know it's not fair to them.
Well, I can go whatever your judgment is, I suppose.
Well, we should stick to school issues. I would suggest that you do speak
I was under the
directly
impression
to
that it was
Mrs.
a school
Bragg,
issue.
Mr. Mariano, and Mr. Pulio.
That's fair enough. I can do that. Thank you.
Anybody else for open forum? One other thing I have here, I just want to make a comment on the gentleman at open forum about the letter that the 3 members sent out. I know we agree to disagree a lot, but I was disappointed that the rest of the membership didn't get a courtesy call that a letter was going out. We didn't need to know the subject of the letter, just that a letter was going out. It put a lot of us on the spot. When people asked us about the letter, some people were confused what the letter was about. I'm disappointed for the lack of courtesy and professionalism, and I know that Mrs. Bragg and Mr. Mariano have been here a number of years, so I'm very surprised that we didn't get anything from you guys in the form of some heads up that was going out. I know we don't agree with all the topics, but it was concerning to me as the vice chair because it shows the community a decisive split in this committee.
One short comment is the letter did not go out as a school committee letter. The letter went out as an individual, and I was one of those individuals. And I have just as much right to express my opinion as anyone does. And that's all that letter was for. It was not meant anywhere for him to come as a school committee.
I understand that, Mrs. Bragg.
It was done as an individual.
But we've been in different discussions over the course of the years. We don't agree on everything. But I felt when we go out with a letter of that magnitude in a time that is very critical to the city, that a courtesy or a professional. Let me finish, Mr. Mariano, before you pull the point of order. That courtesy and professionalism is given out to the other committee members. That's all I'm asking for. I don't need to know what the letter means. I don't want to know what the letter is. Just a heads up that a letter went out. So you're able to do some research and find out what people are asking you. That's all.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Mr. Mariano.
I find it kind of interesting that you're taking such umbrage at this. You continue to have meetings and make representations of your discussions with the superintendent that we have no knowledge of. You made one today that you met with the superintendent on the weekend. Were we notified?
That has no bearing on this letter,
Certainly
Ron.
does. It certainly
The
does.
meeting with the superintendent.
It certainly does.
was
Now
about-
you're interrupting me, Mr. Chairman. So I find it kind of interesting that we express an opinion, and albeit it's a different opinion from yours, and we have every right to do that. I didn't think I had to notify you, as you don't feel you have to notify me about what you do. So I don't think there's this great wrong that occurred here to you or to the other members of the body. I think you're trying to make it into one, which is problematic for me. But I just think that we're trying to make this a little bit of a political issue. Three of us agree on something. We expressed an opinion. I understand you don't like it, and I accept that, and it's too bad. But I mean, I'm sure you'll be expressing things as we go forward that I don't agree with. But I don't want to see this become a political football because we decided to exercise our First Amendment rights and say something outside this body. So.
Well, I disagree with you. I know that now, if I meet with the superintendent on a Saturday, it's a spontaneous visit to ask him an MCAS question. It's not a letter signed by 3 members of the school committee. It's a little different. Now, I know you want to down it a little, so it turns out to be nothing, but it was the courtesy and the professionalism for the rest of the committee, and as the vice chairman, I'm just speaking my mind. You spoke your mind and your opinion, Mr. Mariano, and you have every right, but I'm saying the letter that went out was very disturbing, and it's disturbing that people out there, when they ask you the question about the letter and you have no idea, I didn't receive a letter, so I didn't even know there was a letter out there. And as the vice chairman, they're asking me the question, and I'm searching for an answer. So I just want to make my point. I'm going to stop now so we don't go all night. But I just that's the only point I wanted to make. I'm just disappointed in the 3 members that went out, and especially Mrs. Bragg and you, Mr. Mariano, because you've been around for a long time. Mr. Pulio.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I just wanted to briefly address the point because I was mentioned in the 3. And I won't belabor it here, but I would say that our action in the letter reflected our opinions as individual residents who happened to have experience on the school committee. And I think that it was a reflection of what our experience had been, being both members of the committee and being residents of Quincy, and I think we voiced that quite well. The second point I would like to make was that the letter was hardly precedent-setting. There have been a number of occasions in the past 2 years, while I've been sitting in this chair, that members of this committee have gone and testified before boards and commissions of the city without notifying the rest of the committee, and have spoken saying, I'm so-and-so school committee member, or introduced themselves as such. No advance notice was given to the other members. And I would also point out, Mr. Chairman, that you yourself, during the budget process, not this budget process round, but the one before, sent a letter regarding the school budget as vice chairman to all the city councilors, which was read into the record at the city council meeting, and I believe I was sitting right in the back over there with you when it was read, regarding the school budget and the impact and what actions the city council should take. And I know as a school committee member that I was not consulted before that letter was sent. I very much would have liked to see it, and that was sent, I believe, I don't know if it was sent on school letterhead or not, but that was sent as, it seemed, a more official capacity. And I would argue that, in an official capacity is different than what we did, which I believe was on campaign letterhead or just as a note. I didn't see the final printed product. I saw a draft in my email. But I think what we did was hardly precedent setting. And I think it was a reflection of how we feel on the committee. And I think when a day comes and we can't express ourselves as individual members, I think that's a sad day for discourse in the city. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Pulio. And I did send that letter. I was concerned about our money and our budget, not an election.